Good morning. Yes, it is dawn. It's past dawn. The yard's lit. I can see out the door here. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I know I ask that question every single time, and it's because 1 out of 10 live streams I have audio issues. Hello, Billgoats. Oh, I love coffee. Do you love coffee? I love coffee. Anyway, so a couple of recent activities that have been going on. Thank you, Dave, for confirmation that you can all hear me. Hopefully the audio level's high enough. I had to boost it up. I know this mic's rather directional, so and I went back and looked at one of my last live streams, and I'm like, oh wow, I can barely hear me, which is probably a good thing. But anyway, I digress. So a couple of things recently. I went to a place nearby. It's about I don't know, 45 minutes away. Been trying to go to it for a while, but the guy's only open like in the afternoon weekdays. And I happened to take the day off work yesterday so that I could get some things done. And I thought, hey, I'll go check it out. And, one man's mess is another man's mystery. But this shop, it was in downtown location. I'm not going to mention where exactly. And they do phone repairs and PC repairs and stuff like that. And he had some things on Marketplace and didn't communicate very well. But, I'm like, hey, are you open today? He said yes. 3:45. And I'm like, are you opening at 3:45? Or are you open until 3:45? And he replied, yes. So anyway, so I took a chance and I stopped in. And you guys have heard of a place called, I think it was Computer Reset or something like that, in Texas, where this gentleman had accumulated 40 years of tech in warehouses, and it was like, from the videos I saw, it was an organized chaos, or maybe chaos that was not organized. I'm not sure. Anyway, this had 3 employees in it. There was only enough room in the place for those 3 employees to stand, and then maybe one other person, which was me. There were pathways through the place and just stacks and stacks of stuff. Garage sales are chaotic. This was a hazard. there were towers of things randomly piled that were in danger of tipping over. And so he's like, well, you're free to look around at your own risk. So he understood that he had a mess. But it's apparently, one of the employees talked to me and said, when I ran this place, it was neat. So it's probably a contention amongst them. And one of the guys looked at me after, when we went into the basement so I could look at some of the stuff they had down there. It was worse in the basement. And he said, yeah, we like to think of ourselves as a mini computer reset. So anyway, I found a couple of things while I was there. I'm going to make a grease weasel. And I guess the best drive for doing that is a Sony floppy drive. And there were just random floppy drives throughout the place. And this one was on the floor of the basement. Amazingly in good shape. I'm talking about a Michigan basement here where it had a poured floor and then stone walls. So, not that you could really see the walls. Going down the stairs, there was like a footpath on the stairway going down. Anyway, so I got that. I picked up and I can't look at it because it's turned away from me, a Commodore monitor. It's a glorified TV set, really, but he said it had needed to be degaussed. And I've done that before with monitors where you wave a strong electromagnet in front of it, like run a drill, hand drill, or a big soldering iron, and then you can wave it in a spiral pattern as you move away from the monitor, and it'll straighten out the colors. Anyway, I turned it on. It didn't need to be degaussed. It's perfectly fine. He had 4 or 5 of them, he claimed. I think he just lost track of which one was which. Whatever. So I picked that up. What else did I get? Oh, a box game. I don't have it here. It's actually somewhere else. But I got a Zork game. It's a Commodore 128 release. I didn't get it because I wanted the disc. I got it because I don't have a Commodore 128 anyway. I got it because I wanted the box with the manual and everything, and it still had the map that you unfold. Sorry I didn't bring it down here so I could show you, but I'm, as you know, I'm writing a game, and I'm getting closer to having it done. I'm fixing bugs now instead of adding features, and writing the manual. And I'm trying to take inspiration from other manuals that were created for other games, and having the physical media, I mean, you can find them online. People have scanned them. That's good for a reference, but having the physical media and feeling how it was bound, and does it lie flat? There's certain things that are important. If you're going to look at a game manual while you're playing, you don't want to have to press it open or bend the pages to get it to stay flat. There's ways to bind that make game manuals a lot easier to use. They're also cheaper bindings too. So anyway, long story short, I've been picking up some stuff and looking at things. Adventure. So if you look, point the right way. Look over here. There's the poster from VCF Midwest. Adventure is coming together. I'm writing the manuals, both for the game and for the editor. And I'm running a coffee campaign to fund things like I need a binder, and I want to ring spiral bind the manual. So I need the little, lever punchy thing for cutting the pages so that I can put the spiral binding on. I need to buy boxes, and I'm trying to keep the cost low so that the per unit cost of making boxes is low. That way I can put other things into the box. Sorry, my allergies are just kicking my butt this week. So I'm running a fundraiser, and anybody that contributes, I don't care if it's $1, which is the lowest that you can contribute, or $100, but I'll put you in the credits as a supporter of the game. And when it's released at VCF Midwest 2025, which is what VCF Midwest 20, I guess, there'll be box sets for sale with, it won't have the floppies that you need to install the game because that would be 35 floppies. That's a little ridiculous. It'll be a digital card to go download the assets. I'll probably put a single floppy disk in there with some additional material or something like that for the game. Maybe another like a demo of the next version or something like that. There'll be something in the box. It'll have the manuals. It'll have I intend to print a poster, maybe a map. I'm not sure what the poster is going to be yet, but it'll be one of those. It'll be an interactive, integral part of the game, so that you've got something to use with the game. The manual will also have, places where you can draw out your map or take notes, like a traditional game would. There's features in the game where you can take notes in the game, things like that. But a lot of times people wanted to draw things out. You draw your map. Yeah, so that's coming. I'm already about 40 pages into the manual. It's going to be a lot of pages, but writing's not my forte, but I'm getting there. Oh, thanks for the donation, Dave. So anyway, donate or not, it's fine. I'll be able to produce the box sets. It's going to be a limited run. I'm hand making them, so they're going to be artisanal, handcrafted boxes. And I'll have them at my table at VCF to sell. It'll be a digital download too. You won't have to buy a box set, and the digital download is, I imagine, is going to be free. That way I can just distribute the game. Everybody can have what they want. But the box set is kind of neat. I like having physical media. So anyway, enough about that. And if you're a monthly contributor to the coffee or to Patreon, you'll also get credit in the game too as well. You don't have to do an individual thing. Let's see. So this is a programming stream instead of a hardware stream. And let me switch. Why does this always do this? I use a tablet to control the screens. And it always, I got to figure out the settings so I can change this so it doesn't go to sleep on me. Speaking of sleeping, I got about 5 hours last night. As usual, I'm punchy. So adventure, I've covered this before. You've got multiple code blocks in here. There's stacks with scripts in them for at the card, or not the card, the stack scripting level, and they're all imported into the main game. That way I can defeat the problem of not having enough script space in the actual stack. Not a perfect solution, but it works for me. Debugging's a little bit of a challenge when you do that. We've got the main game. We've got the editor. The reason why this, and this is a development tool stack that I created that helps me with development. The reason it's so huge is the media. So there is AIF files for sound effects, and I went a little nuts. There's a lot of sound effects in the main game. Yeah. And I was going to have mod files for background music. Had some difficulty with the mod files and getting it to continue to play in the background, so that's actually a feature for a next version. So I can pull those mod files out of there to reduce the amount of download, but it's just too much for doing floppy disks. And why is there a pop-up on my screen that's blocking the chat? There. Hey, thank you for the donation, Will. So, and who did I miss? Hey, Eric Rangel, thank you. Thank you very much for the donation. So, you guys all get credit in the credits. I will want to know how you want your name to appear, whether you want it to be your name or your handle or your I'll throw the URL to your website, or whatever you want. So I'll follow up with everybody with that question. So let's get into this. So if you run Adventure today, and I use Mini VMAC and QEMU to test things out. I should make the point that the stack in a zip file is going to be available. So if you've got a classic Mac that you can run it on, it does require running on like a Power PC, like a G3 or something, because you can run it on a classic Mac, but you can drink a cup of coffee in between moves. So that's not really an option. But I wrapped it in Mini VMAC so I could distribute it for Linux, Windows, and for Mac. So it runs in the emulator at stupid speed. Yeah, quack EMU. And it works well. So I've got I was using QEMU because it's a lot easier to get AppleTalk working and share files. I ran into a weird emulation bug where it doesn't quite work. I'm a little disappointed because I like QEMU, but I haven't sorted out why it's acting up. I have a custom build thanks to Eric Helgeson of Mini VMAC that will auto-magically attach to the drive and all that. Yeah, we won't have it on a Pico Micro Mac. Yeah, it'll be a while. I do have kind of a project in mind for a handheld, and it would be great if the Pico Micro Mac solved that problem, but it doesn't. It's never going to do that. You might as well go to a Raspberry Pi, right? By the time you add an audio hat and storage, which storage is available for it now, and enough memory, blah blah blah, you might as well just emulate it on a like a Raspberry Pi Zero or something like that. And so anyway, so let me switch over quickly because I'm talking about it now. Where's my desktop? There we go. Alright, so as you can see on the desktop, I've got both systems running. One of the things I also like about QEMU is that you could do a color Macintosh with Mini VMAC, your black and white with 68K architecture. So, but it runs. So here's Adventure running on there, full screen, and oh yeah, it's got to capture the mouse. And I've got it running here. So the odd thing I ran into is that I need to be able to have the game start up without a save file. So and the reason behind that is that the editor allows you to create your own game, and when you pick a game that it hasn't played before, there's no save file, so it has to create one. And it's got this weird bug that doesn't occur in any of the other emulators, and I haven't quite figured out what's wrong with it, so I'm not using QEMU right now. But that's okay. We'll work it out. And as you guys know, I like working on real hardware, so that's what this is. This is my Power Macintosh G3 Tower. It's running a Blue SCSI, so that makes it convenient. It has the audio AV card in it, which is nice. I haven't really played around with that yet. The next version of Adventure is going to be like an isometric view. I'm thinking about adding some videos to it, so it would be little tiny box videos, animation or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. But gotta finish the current version first. So, sorry about my nose. Hang on. Yeah, the basement is a little bit in a disarray. In other words, it's a mess because of VCF. I haven't really cleaned anything up. I need to spend a weekend doing nothing but just putting stuff away. All right. Enough of me just jabbering. So we're going to start adventure. And the Tavern is a demonstration game that I've written. I'm going to change it so that you've got an avatar that follows you around in the each location to explain how the game works. That way, if you're the type of learner that needs a tutorial that walks you through, you'll have it. Yes, Trina, you're working on real hardware. This is real hardware. I'm using the hardware as it was intended to do things like run applications and software, not just do memtest. So, I know memtest is an application. But I played that game. It's not very fun. Real Romulan hardware. Oh, yes, we must steal the cloaking device. I'm an original series fan, so. Oh, I love coffee. I said that already. All right, so Adventure is running. And you can do a new game, and it will just restart the game. You can do open game, and so I could run the Tavern and open it. There you go, and it starts off. You could export your dialogue. So this is a feature where I can take all the text that's built up in here and it'll export it to a file in case you wanted to save your dialogue. And you could quit. And then under edit, there's copy and paste because there is a text box here that you can type commands in. So, my name is Eric. Oh, that's not. Oh, call me Eric. That's it. See, I don't even remember my own commands. So, who am I? Oh, I thought I implemented that. Look at me. All right. So my health, strength, stamina, and magic are all set at 11. I'm not carrying anything, and I've visited the tavern because that's the home location in the game. So it does have some minimal stats that it keeps track of. Yeah, actually, I do want to do a multiplayer version down the road. I've done that with a couple of other things. It's problematic. If you guys have used the Global Talk chat application, it can be a little slow, but it's an adventure game. It's not supposed to be a, hack and slash Twitch fest. So it'd work. Anyway, I want to add, and this is one of the reasons why, writing the manual is good. As you start writing a manual, you realize, oh shoot, I forgot to provide users with a way of saving their game arbitrarily. It's got a save function in it. So if I quit, there's actually a file called Adventure Save that has your current game state in it. Well, I don't want people to have to quit the app just to make a save. And then you got to manage, because it's all hard-coded for, not hard-coded. There's a config that says what's the name of the file for the save. You'd have to manage it by copying the file to another file, and if you wanted to get back to your save point, you'd have to copy it back, and nobody wants to do that. So what I thought was that I should add a save game and load game menu options here so that you could save the game and give it a name, and then you could load it and pick it. So I've already got new and open and export, so I've got code in there that saves files. So if we do export dialog, then it opens this up, and you can say, foo. I'm going to save it as foo. There. Now I've got a foo file. I should have a foo file. Now, close this media thing. Or is it not working? Yeah, I'm not sure okay, so maybe that's another bug. Let's open up our bugs. Does save dialog work? Question mark. Okay, so we're going to save that one. All right. So, the development tools will let me edit the main script by hitting F5. And I can do things like set the text so that it's a little bit bigger, stuff like that in the development tools. But to do that, I need to open the development tools, and that's a stack here. And there we go. So I want to autosave. I want this font to be a little bigger. I really should do some feedback there so you can see that you did it. So let's see if that worked. Kind of hack that together in a hurry. Nope, it didn't work. Why aren't you loading the development tools? Did I? No? Because it still has the script here. Anyway, let's just manually do it. Let's see, I have to do a command for that. And I think it's set. No, it's not set. What is it? Let's look at the script for this. Somewhere in here I set the font. Set the script text font to, okay. Oh yeah, set the script size to. All right. Set it to 14. There we go. I'll have to figure out why the script's not working, but there. At least now you can see what's going on. So before I dive into the code further, who do we got in the chat? Where is my mouse? There it is. Oh, it's captured. That's why I can't do anything. Uncapture. So we have Dave's Vintage Apple Tech and Garth Beagle and Eric Rangel, Billgoats, K-Mac Vintage, All Things DG. Kabam! And of course Trina. Always so helpful, Trina. I think I got everybody. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know you're just riveted to your seat. Did you strap yourself in so that you couldn't get up? You're in danger of falling asleep, Trina. Anyway. So, we want to be able to add things to the menu. Now I have to remember where the heck I put editing, setting up the menu. So here is where I start using these other stacks to pull them in. I thought maybe I did the menu in here. And I probably don't. So let's look and see what functions I've got. Put the inventory to see, to debug things I have to pull it into this stack. So no, it's not in here. That means we're going to have to open up other card stacks to pull in the code. So let's do this. Oh, yeah, gotta close that. Oh yeah, here's the menu. Set up menus. Yay. Real programmers remember where they put things they wrote 40 years ago, or which cuneiform tablets they wrote them on. Yeah. I'll tell you what, going from stone chisels and stone tablets to cuneiform clay tablets was quite an advancement. Made it a lot easier to correct your mistakes until you bake the tile. So, all right. So anyway, here's put new game, open game, export, dialog, quit into menu file. So we want to add to this, and I think it should be here. We should save game and load game. All right. Now, and then you've got messages that execute. So do save game, do load game. All right. So those message handlers need to be written. Set. Oh yeah, and command characters. So do we want to set command char of menu item save game of menu file to S is normally used for save game. Set cmd char of menu item load game menu file to L, I guess. O for open, so L for load. Works for me. Okay. This was all code that tries to handle the edit menu. Doesn't work very well. Okay. So where are the handlers? Do export dialog. Alright, so we're going to do save game. I'm going to put a handler here for that, since it does very similar to export dialog. We'll just copy that into here. Save game as, the result code is empty, save file to it. So it's a global variable. Oh, man, the dialog keeps getting hidden behind pop-ups on my computer. I need to move the screen. Yeah, that's a little better. Oh, sorry, this is so exciting, isn't it? All right, so it is a global variable that for some reason they decided to use that instead of, I guess it's similar to this in Java script, in the same sense that there's this weird global variable you can use to refer to something. Anyway, so they use that instead of having you call a function and then get the result. I think they thought that it was an easier way of handling the concept of calling code that would return a value instead of having you call a function. I don't know. I don't think the concept of a function is that difficult, but anyway, that's what they decided to do. The weird thing is that there are functions in the language, and then you have to recognize, oh, does it use it or is it a function call? So, all right, write card field dialog of card game to file the file name. All right. So it opens the file and it writes card field dialog. We don't want it to do that. We want it to save the game. Now there's already a routine that saves the game. And that's save globals. So this is called when you close the stack and saves everything to a save file. And it gets the save file path from the configuration. It defaults to adventure save if you haven't done it. So this routine does everything we want, except it doesn't take a parameter. So there's no way to tell it, I want you to do this to save the file. So what I think we should do is add a function that takes a parameter that is the file name, and then have it do all this stuff. So it is setting. So there are a couple of ways I could handle this. It's already using a global. that is the save file. But I don't want to set that global because the generic save is supposed to be save the current state of the game at the end when you're done, and then when you start up it reloads that. You don't want to have random save points be saved. So we don't really want to leverage the save file name that's global because that would be weird. So I think what we should do is create a function that is called from both places. Well, a handler. It doesn't have to be a function. Save to file name. Excuse me. So what we could do is take the guts of this so we don't want it to be the stack folder whatever. We want the user to pick that. So right here, when it's in file name is where we've got it, and then it opens the file name. So we're going to change this to save game to file. Oops. Here. And then we're going to take this just going to copy it for now. And we're going to slap it in here. Okay. And we also need the globals, because that's where all the game data is. We don't need the save file name though. Okay. Which means this no longer needs these. We're just going to comment them out. Okay, and we're going to comment this out. And that should... Now, Trina, here's a interesting observation. Well, I don't know if it's interesting. Here's an observation about how I code. I tend to go for broke when I code. I'm arrogant enough to think that I don't write bugs, I write code. And it's just like when I work on hardware and I'm ready to test what I've done, and I go ahead and close up the case and everything based on the assumption that I've done everything correctly. There's no reason not to button everything up. And I just realized I code the same way. That does not mean that I'm perfect and I don't make mistakes and have bugs. Obviously I do. But it also means that I'm overconfident and will just go ahead and try things out. Because what I really should do is move this code into the main game stack so I can run the debugger on it. Arrogance and hubris make good programmers. Yeah, that's true. Otherwise, we wouldn't try to control something as arbitrary as a computer. I mean, it's logical. I write correct code, so why shouldn't it work the first time, right? All this code would have to move over to the main code module so you could set breakpoints and stuff. And that's what I'll end up doing when it doesn't work, right? I'm fairly confident that this is simple enough. It'll just work. But we'll see. All right, so let's do a quick review. I still have to write the other functions. Yes, Trina, that's why I do that. Before I test them, I assume everything is going to work correctly. We can just test save file without testing the rest of it. I do have to put stub handlers in for the other stuff, or it's not going to work properly when it loads. So save game as, we still have to change the code here. So what we are going to do is copy this and we're going to put this here. We don't need to open the file or close the file. We just need save file. And I've got a different variable name here. So I need to make sure I got that. Alright, so save game's written. On load game and load game. So, and I will do this because I forget to do. Okay, so in theory, this should work. Oh, wait a minute, it's do save game. So yeah, I already made a mistake, and I caught it because it wouldn't have done anything. Okay, do load, do save. Sorry about the sniffling. And I think that should work. So we're going to save our script and close it. This is an adventure code A. Close that stack. Now, adventure code A needs to be reloaded. Excuse me for a second here. It's not a mistake when you catch it. That's right. Oh yeah, yes. Our alpha testers, the production customers, will catch our mistakes. That's what customers are for, testing. All right. So we're going to have to restart the stack. Quit. Let's start up adventure. We're going to do, oh, look at that. So we're going to do a new game. And I just realized there's no audio. Why is there no audio? Let's go to settings. Okay, I can hear it in the speakers. Can you guys hear that? Let me reload. It's not playing audio. Did I not load? There may not be audio in this part of the game. Okay, so let's Let's go north. Yep. Alright, so we're at the well. I've taken some well water. You heard some chirping. Yeah. That's when I set the volume level. So in the config, if you mess with the volume. So you should hear some chirping right now. So it is capturing it. I just forgot to add it to the game, probably. So let's fix that really quick. It's going to open the editor, open the demo game, go to the locations, tavern. Go to the tavern, and sure enough, there's no audio. So in the description, we're going to insert sound effect. Go to the media. What would be appropriate? Let's see. Haunted moan. Let's use that. Okay, so that embeds the text here for the audio. You can just do a copy and a paste. Save. And I've got to work on this. It's a double save. So you save it to the record in memory, and then you have to save it to the file. So, save, replace, go to game, and I have to actually open the game to get it to pick up the differences. I think I heard that. Okay. Let's try it again. Should be a low moan. Yeah, my audio volume is really low. Oh shoot, where the heck is that? Is that in the general settings? Oh, actually I could use the strip, couldn't I? No, it's all the way up. You know, the internal speaker on this G3 is pretty quiet. I should probably have plugged it in. Anyway, yeah, we're not going to worry. Sorry, I'm getting myself distracted by other things. Don't fix it. File a bug report and send it to your subcontractors to fix. What if you're subcontracting to yourself? Oh, yeah, GitHub for HyperCard would be nice. I'm actually thinking the developer tools, and I think there were some scripts that did this, where you could script the entire card, including saving background graphics and things like that, and it would save it all as assets, and then you could run the script and it would recreate your card, your stack from scratch. It would be an interesting way of saving all of the code and everything, so that you could check it in and out of your source control. I don't know how much value it would have, but it could be interesting to write. Um, and Joshua JCS has amend, which is his classic Mac environment for source control. And it uses text files, obviously, because it's doing source control for classic C programming, that kind of thing. But you could leverage that to do save your assets and stuff. Oh, I'm sorry about with Internet Archive being down, not being able to get your stack. I started putting my stuff up on Macintosh Garden. I asked Fog Wraith, Fog Wraith, if he would be fine with me storing the stacks that are right there, and he was like, "Oh yeah, please do." So, if you can get your stuff, it's good to put it in more than one place. You could always store the files in GitHub too. I really should probably be doing that, but I haven't. I've stored other things in GitHub. I've from several years ago, I have some TI-99 4A stuff. I set up scripting so it would take any of the stuff from the emulator code that gets saved and automatically put it in GitHub. And then I stopped working on my TI code. So I need to get back into doing that again, but not until Adventure's done. Okay, so anyway, let's try saving this. We're going to save game. And it asks me... Now, I did not suggest to it a file to save. Could get fancy and increment a save file. Yeah, back up somewhere on some SD card. Yeah, I know what that's like. So let's see. Let's call it foo bar. And we're going to save it in the adventure. Okay, so it should have saved it. Why am I not seeing files here? Hey, Swing. Something isn't right. Save game. Let's do it to the desktop. Right there. Okay, there's a file. Too large for simple text. Yes, it is. It's a pretty big file. And I locked up my machine. What is going on? Oh, there it goes. That was weird. Maybe you can't drag and drop on BB Edit. Desktop. Foobar. Open. There we go. Alright, so... Too long, didn't read. Yeah. So, the way the file is set up, the database actually, is it's pipe delimited and carriage turn line feed delimited. This is how big? Does this give you file stats? I don't remember. There's some way in here. tell you how many lines you've got, but it's quite large. Now this is a bug. That's not supposed to have a tab, or is it? Oh, no. Yeah, that I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll have to look into that. Anyway, so it does save a file. Get info. 80K. So it's quite a bit. It's all of the global variables, including the game, your current state, all the locations, your inventory, you name it, everything is saved as records. One of the things I've done is I've written a SQL engine, and future versions are going to use that. It does the same thing. It's a pipe delimited carriage turn line feed, or line feed, for record delimiters file, but the code allows me to do select statements, update, insert. You can create tables, all that, so that I could do the coding would be a lot easier, because otherwise I have to do, search each record, line through the file. Yeah, Eric SQL. Actually, I did call it, I gave it a name. It's SQL like, kind of a play on SQLite. So it's like SQL, but it's not really SQL. Like, for example, where clauses are just hypertext expressions that you evaluate. So you could instead of doing, where foo like some wildcard kind of a string, it's where foo contains, and then you do a string. So it uses the HyperTalk scripting to evaluate where clauses. It'll still do your classic basic SQL, because you can do equals and other expressions, less than, greater than, things like that in SQL, and you could, hypertext also does that, or HyperTalk, I mean. It was kind of fun to write, and I was able to squeeze it into a single 30,000 character script. I have about 100 characters left in that script, so it's really packed in there. I didn't, obfuscate the code so that it's single letter variables and things like that. You could squeeze more out of it that way, but I got it to a point where I could compile it as an CMD. So it'll get caught in the code review. But that's one of the reasons why I kind of took a break for a month and wrote that, or a couple weeks or whatever it was, because A, I was scratching an itch, and B, the code for handling the database in this thing is a mess, and I want to replace it, but I want to finish the game first, then I'll go back and refactor it. So, or work on the next version, I'll use it there. Anyway, long story short. So let's go back to the code here. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. Anyway, so it worked. See, Trina, sometimes you can fix code, hardware, and just button it up, and it just works. Yeah, I know that doesn't happen very often. So let's go back into the code here. F5. And I know there's other shortcuts for getting into code. See, it lost the it lost the setting for the script size. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with that. So we go to save game to file. Now we need to do load game from file. So we need do load game, and I know I created that. We need to open a file and read it. So there is a function called load globals. We have to do a similar thing there. So it reads the file into the global variables, and it works off of the assumption that your configuration has the save file path in it. Hey, thanks a lot for showing up, Billgoats. Appreciate you. Yeah. Coding's fun. So, I think I'm hungry for breakfast now, so I'm probably going to end the stream here. So a little bit of coding today, no hardware, although there will be a hardware stream coming up, and I want to bring up this. So one of the things that, let me switch cameras, sorry. Come on. Silly tablet. Webcam. There we go. So, if you guys might be familiar with hackerboxes.com, I don't want to, show my address there, but basically, Hackerbox has these great little kits that they do, and this is I watched a video and made a comment about it, and they give away one almost every stream or review where they showed the Hackerbox. So I happened to get lucky and won this one, and they put neat little things in there, like there's this little lockpick thing so that you can learn how to lockpick and play around with that. So there's always things in here. This one is based on, let me get the card out. So they give you, packets with all the parts you need, including batteries, any cables you need for stuff. So it's also, they didn't send me solder and things like that, but it's got all the bits and pieces that you would need to order. And they add a few other goodies in there. There was the lock picking thing. And some stickers. So stickers are always fun. Anyway, this Hackerbox, and you can go to hackerboxes.com to see it, is an Uno R4 with Wi-Fi. So it's a microprocessor that has a whole bunch of different functions. This one has this display built on it and stuff, so that you can load up some of their demo applications. It also came with this hat that goes on there that is like a real-time clock or something like that, so that it can keep track of things. I haven't even looked at it yet, other than I watched the video. It's got this little plug for a voice control module, so there must be something you can add to it to do that. Anyway, I haven't done any microcontroller coding, and it's something I'd like to do, and this is going to be a great kind of entry-level kit for me, because there's already some projects with source code and stuff to do, run a clock, do remote Wi-Fi control of the device from your phone, because it does a Wi-Fi website kind of a thing, interface, so that you can do that. I've got a temperature sensor that I bought a year ago so that I could monitor my... I do the bath immersion thing in the garage with turkey when I thaw it, and you have to make sure it doesn't go above 40 degrees, so you have to monitor it. Here in the Great White North, your garage is cold enough that you can get away with that kind of thing, but you can't let it get above 40. So I wanted to build a Raspberry Pi based alarm system where it had the sensor in there and it would warn me if it was getting too warm. So you could go put ice in it or something to keep it cold. Well, I could build that with this, and then I could check the temperature or whatever remotely. So I'm going to fiddle around with that on a stream here soon. I mean, you can watch the review stream, and I'm sorry I can't remember the YouTube handle for going and watching these, because he does a review every week. Anyway, long story short, I'll do a hardware stream where I build that, because I think that'd be fun, and you can watch me fiddle around. So that'll be fun. I picked up. Is that even here where I can show it? Oh yeah, here. Oh. So when I was at VCF Midwest, I picked this laptop up. It's a 486 Toshiba satellite, and I already did the hardware repair on it, but it needed the power board recapped. I guess it's a common failure point for these things, so I did that, and it took care of the problem. It's got DOS 6.22 on it and Windows 3.1. But the hard drive's pretty old, and I need to do a serial interface so that I can get the files off that hard drive. And I couldn't find my null modem cable. Well, I went to a local computer group. Let me show that off too. So it's the Southeastern Michigan Vintage Computer Club, and they had a free table with some stuff, and there was a null modem cable. So I grabbed that. So now it's something else I could do live stream. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but as Trina would say, it's kind of between hardware and software. So that'll be an upcoming thing. Jamie's Hack Shack. Thank you, 1-Bit Fever Dreams. Yes, talking about slow funk. So go watch their stream, and they do a great demonstration of assembling the stuff and talking about it. So yeah, so check that out. Thank you for adding that. Anyway, that's it for today. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes, and the coffee's wearing off. So like and subscribe and all that stuff. Got to feed the algorithm. So if you could hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Wait, when did I ever say that? When did you ever say what, Trina? Sorry. I lost track of the thread there. What did I say that you said? Anyway. So like and subscribe, hit that, update button so you can see it. Thanks, Dave. Thanks everybody for showing up. If you're inclined and want to get, a call out on the adventure credits in the game, throw me a few bones on Coffee, or what's the other one? Patreon. There you go. But that's it for this week. Bye, everybody. Where's the button? I gotta find the button. Here comes the outro.